I am going to begin then. Hello, everybody. So if there's more people that are coming in, Mindy, you can just let them in throughout, but I'm gonna go ahead. So today's session is Trademark Basics, and we're gonna talk about, go more in depth on how to protect a business name. If you guys are new to this session, this is the last one on my 3-part series, and we're going to focus mostly on trademarks today. And some of my past ones I've focused on IP and patent basics. So my name, for those of you that don't know me, is Jessica Pierpoint, or also known as Jessica Torres. I just changed my name recently, and I'm the Information Services Research Assistant and Ptrc rep for WSU Libraries. So I kind of hold a lot of different areas, specialty areas. So a little bit about what exactly a Ptrc representative is. So Ptrcs are patent and trademark resource centers. And we're lucky because Wichita, WSU's campus actually houses one. We've been a Ptrc since 1991, and we are one of 84 in the country and the only one in Kansas. So as of right now, I'm the only Ptrc rep, so I am basically Kansas's main point of contact. Pretty soon we'll be getting a second person that'll be helping me along, so it won't just be all me, but that'll be great. And then going beyond Ptrc reps, I will say we do have a couple regional locations, and our closest one is Denver, and then the USPTO, or United States Trademark and Patent Office, is the headquarters, and they are in Alexandria, Virginia, just shy of DC. So some of the things we offer as a Ptrc is we do have LibGuides specific to patents, trademarks, copyrights, and any form of intellectual property. These are created by me or by Ptrc people, and are just kind of like a nice little hub area for you guys in case you want to know general information, you want to know resources, you attend this workshop and you forget some of the information I've told you about, you can go there and kind of view. I'm also hoping to have a little bit of time after this presentation to show you where those guides are located. I also offer individual consultations up to 2 hours. Sometimes it doesn't always take that 2-hour time frame, but at least that gives you a little cushion. Right now, consultations are looking a little bit differently because a lot of us on campus are remote or hybrid working, and so therefore I'm doing consultations via Zoom, by phone if necessary, or I can just answer general questions through email. We also have books in our collection that are specific to intellectual property needs. Community users can check out those books as long as they become community user members, and those books are located on our 3rd floor. We also have on our 1st floor that are free to take our brochures that the USPTO sends to me, and I try to update. We have ones regarding how to do a provisional patent, how to do a patent application, how to do copyright application, and how to do trademarks. We also have ones just involving all intellectual property needs. So those are really handy and nice to have. We do also typically do an entrepreneurship research series, me and the business librarian, Megan Coleman. However, because of COVID and us not being able to do it in person, we've kind of taken a slight break this past year, but we're hoping to come back in some sort of Zoom format in the fall. Until then, we've just been kind of doing off-shot workshops, such as this one here with KSPDC. That's been really nice. So I'm just going to dive right in to this. So first up, I want to kind of talk a little bit about what intellectual property is, because trademarks are a form of intellectual property, and it's kind of important to know the gist of it, because sometimes you might think you have a trademark question and really it's a different form, or maybe you have something that can pertain to multiple areas of intellectual property. So there are 3 types of intellectual property. There is a 4th type. It's not really talked about a whole lot, but that would be trade secret. But the main 3 that I want to focus on are patents, which protect an invention or creation, trademarks, which we'll go into depth today, and this can protect a business name, logo, slogan, or etc. And then copyright. And copyright protects any works of creativity, such as art, music, writing, etc. There isn't really an international patent, trademark, or copyright. So if you are looking at maybe a trademark that you're wanting to not just have protection over the US, but foreignly, there isn't just a one-shot application that you fill out. What I'm going to be focusing on today is going to be USPTO related, so that's going to be only covering US protection. If you're looking at something regarding foreign, or maybe you want to start out with US but then work your way to foreign, that can either be a consultation type question, or you're going to want to look into what that country that you're going to have protection over is going to require. So you may apply for a patent or trademark or register a copyright in other countries where you want to defend it, but it will require additional applications and additional fees to do that protection. So I always like to kind of give that. Also, the nice thing with trademarks is there's not only US protection, but you can also go into state protection or just common law protection. So we're just going to go right into it. So today we're going to mostly talk about trademarks. I'm going to kind of go into what it is, kind of talk about the different types of trademark applications you can apply for. We're going to focus mostly on how to protect your name, but I will talk about the other forms of trademarks, such as slogans, trade dress, color, design, logo, all that. Just we're going to focus mostly on name. I'm also going to kind of go over some prior art searches for you and hopefully get to some guides. So diving right in, what is a trademark? So a trademark is any word, phrase, slogan, symbol, design, or combination of any of these. So that's kind of a lot. Trademark really does house a lot of different things. So it could be, let's say you just want to get your business name protected. Maybe you want to get your business name protected and your logo. There's many different combinations to which you can do a trademark application for. So, but there's 2 things you want to look at when deciding is your word, slogan, etc. trademarkable. One, does it identify a source of goods or service? And then also, does it distinguish your goods and service from those of any other party? So there's 2 types of trademarks that you can have. There are federally registered trademarks, and then there are trademark or service marks. And these are going to be more state related in a sense. So if you see a R with a circle, that's going to mean that it is federally registered. This means that they've gone through the process to protect their mark in all the US states and territories. They renew every 10 years. This is where they would fill out that USPTO application to go about getting it actually federally registered. It's protected in all the states. As you can see from my example, Adidas, they have their little R symbol up above. If you have not gone through the stages of getting it federally registered, then you might be looking at just having a trademark, TM, or service mark, SM. TM is tangible products and goods. A good example would be shoes. You can think of maybe a sandwich shop, Subway, just anything. So you're going to see TMs a lot of times for businesses that maybe they're in the process of getting their name trademarked. Maybe they've gotten their trademark done statewide. Maybe it's a common law type mark. Maybe they are just starting out and getting their business USPTO approved and getting the federal mark. So you're going to see TM in those sorts of circumstances. Same with service marks. Now, with service marks, it's going to be an SN, and these are intangible services, such as farmers insurance is a good example. Also, besides the insurance company, maybe it's a car wash, just something that maybe you aren't physically able to see. These are state registrations through the Secretary of State. So if, let's say, you're a mom and pop type shop, or you're a local shop, you plan to not have an online store, you plan to only sell within your state or a certain mile radius, you don't plan to sell outside of your state, you might be looking at getting a state registration. And by doing this, you would go through the Secretary of State of Kansas, and go through the Uspto application system. These renew every 5 years and may be used without registration in a common law use. So like I said before, if you're maybe a business that's in the process of going through the application for USPTO or stateside, and you are not quite a trademark name, but you're hoping to become soon, you might be using the TM. There are a lot of businesses, I've seen this happen. Subway is a good example. I've seen on some of their cups, they had one logo, and so they had TM written on a whole bunch of cups, and even though they're registered now, they still had cups from before they were pre-registered, and so you'll see some cups have TM and some have R. It's just a matter of what stage you're at, and like if you have extra cups that you want to utilize. So there is that. What are other types of trademarks though? So I talked really heavily about the namesake, and I also kind of mentioned that there are multiple types. So besides using words, you also might look at design trademarks. So if your business has some sort of logo design, maybe it has some sort of tagline or something, that might be something that you want to look at getting trademarked as well. A good example I like to use is Pizza Hut. So Pizza Hut not only has their name itself trademarked, but they also have their little Hut logo. You do want to be careful with design trademarks. If you are a company that, let's say, you've got this design established, you want to get trademarked, and then like 5 years later, you choose to change it, you choose to revamp it, and it no longer looks like the original design mark, it will need to get reapplied for. So I do like to make note that you want to be sure that your design mark is something you're going to keep for a long time, because if it isn't, then you might want to look at a business decision as to which, should I wait to get it trademarked? Should I not get it trademarked? Maybe I want to get trademarked now, knowing that I'll have to trademark the new one later on. So just things to kind of consider. Other forms of trademarks can be colors. So I've got a whole list there, a little nice color palette for you. These are just a few colors that actually are trademarked through the USPTO. So good example I like to use is when you see a brown truck rolling down your street, you know it's UPS. You don't even have to see that symbol. Same with Tiffany blue. If you're a nice husband or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever gives you a nice Tiffany blue box, you know it's Tiffany, even without seeing the Tiffany name on it. Same with Coca-Cola bottles. You see the red bottle and you just know it's Coca-Cola. These do take time. As well as the other trademarks that I'm going to address, they do take time to establish. Other forms are sounds. So MGM, their roar, noise, they do have it trademarked. Harlem Globetrotters, their little music noise in their commercials, that can be a source of trademark. Other forms of trademark could be any sound that really you notice, you establish. Sense can be another thing. So Play-Doh has a specific scent, a specific smell, and when you smell it, you know it's Play-Doh. So that is something that is trademarkable. Chanel No. 5 is another good example. However, scents can be very hard to protect just because sometimes they do vary in their smells. Chanel No. 5, for example, not all the time does it smell the same. Sometimes they evolve their scent. So that can make it a little harder to protect if it's not that same smell all the time. And then lastly, trade dress and 3D. So I have two examples there. One is the iPhone. So you know it's an iPhone because of the way that it's built. It's got the little button. Also, it has the nice little curved edges. Same with that bottle. You know it's a Coca-Cola bottle because of the way it's designed. It's curved. Those are other forms of trademarks that you can attest to. So. Words and designs, they're going to be more of your more common trademarks that people go about doing, especially words. Colors, sounds, scents, trade dress, 3D, those are going to take a little bit more time. You're going to need to establish it a bit before going through with the trademark applications. So next I kind of want to go into what is considered a strong and weak trademark. So there's lots of different variables and factors to go into when thinking of your business name. So first off, you're going to have your business name that you really, really want. So next is establishing, okay, is it going to be good enough to actually go through the process of applying for? So you want to be considered as to, is it considered a strong trademark or is it considered a weak? And here are a couple factors that will help you kind of establish whether it's strong or weak. So a strong trademark is going to be easier to protect. It's going to, make it a lot better to prevent those third-party uses of the mark because it's distinctive. One of the most important things in regards to trademark is making sure that it is a distinctive name, that, it's because the more harder it is, the more unique it is, the harder it's going to be to let somebody else take it. So 3 things can make up a strong trademark. So it can be an invented word with no meaning. A good example of this would be Kodak. They're known for their cameras and films. Kodak, before it came around, it just was a non-existing word, probably wasn't even in the dictionary at the time. Another example, more recent, would be Qdoba. We know it as, a Mexican food restaurant, fast food restaurant, kind of similar to Chipotle. Qdoba means not, it doesn't have a meaning. It never had a meaning prior. But now, when you think of it, you think of, oh, that place is like Chipotle. They've got the burrito bowls, things like that. So that can be a way that your trademark could go through by being a strong trademark. Next is going to be arbitrary marks. So these are actual words, that are found in the dictionary, but they have no association with your goods and service. Apple is the most popular example. So Apple, when you think of Apple, you think, oh, fruit. But Steve Jobs made it where now you think about computers, phones, technologies. Maybe think of an iPad. He turned a word that had one meaning and one type of goods and service, which was food, and turned it into a whole different realm where now you think of it in the tech world. Other things you could think of, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but you just want to pick something that maybe let's say you're a shoe store and you want to pick a word that is not affiliated with shoes, but maybe is affiliated with something else. Another goods and service, but you want to use it for your shoe store, that can kind of help. And then lastly, suggestive marks. These can be considered strong trademarks. So this is going to be suggest a quality, maybe a characteristic of your goods and service being provided. So my example for this would be KitchenAid, using quick appliances. So KitchenAid, it has kitchen in the name of it. It's associated with kitchen appliances, but the way that it is written and the way that it's said, it gives that meaning as to it's kitchen related, but it doesn't necessarily say that it's flat out kitchen appliances. You still have to kind of have that name association with something else. Next, I want to talk about weak trademark. So weak marks, it's not that these wouldn't ever go through in a trademark application, but they are either going to most likely be less likely to go through, or they are going to be costly and difficult to police and protect throughout its lifespan. So there are two things that make up weak trademarks. One is going to be descriptive marks. So these describe the nature of a goods and service. They're made up of generic works, so that they can be used for anyone. They're very difficult to protect. After 5 use in commerce, they become a recognizable mark. Federal registration may be possible when using a descriptive mark, but it's going to take a lot longer to establish. Example for this would be quick dry in relation to cloth towels. And then lastly, another weak trademark could be generic marks. So these are going to be your common everyday names for goods and services. These are not protectable. Trademark can become generic after long-term widespread, but it's going to be most likely a non-trademark use. So examples of this would be bicycle for bicycle shop, and aspirin for pain relief. So these, like I said, it's not impossible to potentially get it trademark accepted, but it's going to be a lot harder to protect in the long run, and it's going to take a lot more time. So next, I want to go really deep into the different types. So we talked a lot about what IP was in general, and then we really focused on what forms of trademarks you can. So like I said before, most common are word and design, but there are also sense, sounds, trade address that can all make up trademarks. I know we went into a little in deep about what is considered to be more stronger trademark names as opposed to weak trademark names. But next I want to take time to kind of go over, like I said before, I won't really touch on foreign trademarks, but I do want to distinguish the difference between a federal trademark, excuse me, through the USPTO, a state trademark through the Secretary of State, and a common law trademark. I'm going to take a sip of water really quickly. So first I want to talk about federal trademarks. So federal trademarks, these are going to be your main trademark. Most frequently, this is what people want to do. If you are a business that you are not just one location, but you're multiple locations, maybe resigning not only in one state but multiple states. If you are a store that maybe you only have one shop, it's local, but you have an online base to which you sell your product to multiple areas of the United States or even in the world and stuff, you're going to most likely fall within federal trademarks, or this is what you would theoretically want to apply for. So federal trademarks are going to be applied online at the uspto.gov. Their application process you can do is going to be the TEAS application. They do have a test database to which you can search for. So if you, part of doing any form of intellectual property application is you're going to want a prior search, and USPTO's test application or test database is going to be really great for that. Test database, you can basically go into it and type in the name of your company. You can type in names that are associated, different ways of spelling and such to associate with your business name, and it's going to show you any U.S. trademarks that are affiliated under that name. It's also going to tell you the goods and service that those names are under. It provides protection in all the United States. So if you have a federal trademark, if you apply for one and you get it, this will protect you throughout the United States and their territories. You cannot claim infringement beyond the US unless registration also exists in other countries. So like I said before, federal trademarks, they're going to protect you in the US, but if, like, let's say you're an online business only and you not only get a lot, you not only sell a lot of products in the US, but maybe you sell a lot of products to England for some reason. They really like your products there. Maybe you want to look at getting a trademark through them. Your USPTO federal trademark is only going to protect you in the US. It will not protect you in England. So just different variation. That's just a slight example. And then first use in commerce still applies. You want to be aware of other companies using the name that may not have applied for registration. So prior art searching is very important, like I mentioned before, and I'll kind of go a little bit more in depth in that in the next few slides after this section. But basically, you have two different choices with the federal trademark. You can do in use in commerce. This means you've already established your business, you've already started it and everything, and you're going to show that by either having a domain address or maybe you have a tagline. If you're a clothing store, you can show a business card, so forth. If you are not in use in commerce already, then you're going to apply saying your intent to use. Intent to use basically means that you have a I think it's a 6-month window to which you will need to start being in use in commerce, and you're going to have to prove that by sending some form of document to them. And if you are not in use in commerce by the time that month span is up, then you can request, I believe it's up to 2 grace periods. And then if you are still not in use in commerce, then you will have to redo the whole process. So it's very important that you get your trademarks established early, but you also want to make sure that you're either in use in commerce or about to be in use in commerce relatively soon. So with trademark application fees, so there's 3 types of trademark applications that you can do. I know a lot of people always ask me how much all these applications cost. So luckily USPTO has created a nice little chart for you. So there are 3 types of applications. There's the TEAS Plus, TEAS RF, and then TEAS. And I actually think recently they have changed it to where it's TEAS Standard and TEAS Plus. They've gotten rid of the RF, and then they've also gotten rid of, within the past couple of years, paper formats. I've heard that if you are really needing a paper copy to apply, you might be able to request it by calling the USPTO directly. I know they were doing that for sure with patents. I don't know if they're still doing it for trademarks, but you can always call them and ask. Paper does cost you a lot more just because they're really trying to save the environment. So with TEAS Standards and TEAS Plus, the big difference is going to be the price. So TEAS Plus is going to be more of a, you give them all your information right away. You fill out the application to the fullest. You know, make sure you have your goods and service code. You know what this business name is going to fall within regarding goods and services. You're going to maybe either be in use in commerce or intend to use and be able to provide that in a timely manner. If you do the TEAS Standards, the reason why it costs a little bit more is because it doesn't ask for as much information right up front, and so you're going to be needing to provide more and more information throughout later on. So this is good for some people, especially if they're not as established yet, or they still have a lot of, like, they're really wanting to get that trademark, but they're not quite ready to get their trademark yet. Sometimes that's when they choose to go that route. But if you have all your information, you're ready to go, you really want to get it, Cheese Plus is what we really try to recommend. And as you can see, it says yes to like everything, whereas the T standard, you don't necessarily provide your goods and service yet, or you might not be giving all your information quite yet. So next, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a state and a common law mark. So we talked a lot about how to get trademark protection in the US. So maybe you don't need that United States protection. Maybe you're a sole local business, you don't plan on selling outside the US, or you don't plan on selling outside your state. Maybe you don't even think to sell outside your city. And you just don't have that need to have a greater protection. So you might choose to do one of the following. So state trademarks, these are going to be statewide protection. So for example, for us, we would apply and register with the Secretary of State of Kansas. So you would be going through an application process to which your trademark, business name, logo, scent, whatever, would only have protection within the state of Kansas. If you are wanting to do prior art searching, regardless of whether you're going for a federal trademark or state, you want to see what local, what stateside trademarks there are, you can go through their Secretary of State database. It's very similar to TESS, but it's on a smaller scale. Obviously, the only trademarks that are going to show up in this database are state trademarks, so only trademarks that apply to the state of Kansas. It gives a geographic limitation to the state or states of use only, and cannot claim infringement beyond the state of use. So you would have protection in Kansas, but outside of Kansas, you may not have protection. And then lastly, our common law marks. So these are going to be your non-registered marks. So maybe you're in use in commerce already, you're established business and so forth, but you haven't gone through the process of getting a name trademark. Maybe you don't know what trademark means, so you just never thought to do it. Maybe you inherited a business, your business has been around in the family for a long, long time, and you've just chosen never to trademark. I've seen this happen a lot with like farm companies and such. Example is the farm that I physically am a part of, Pure Point Tree Farms. So lots of different things like that. So these are marks that aren't registered. Their trademark rights developed through use. So it's going to be trademarks that are developed really over time. So like I said, farms are a good example. I'll use the tree farm as an example. So it's been around for over a decade. It's developed its rights through use. It may have geographic limitations to the state or states of use only, or to a smaller area. I've seen common law trademarks really take place a lot in small towns. So if you're a small town business and you have one little location and not a lot of people come to you or something, you might be established as a common law trademark, and cannot claim infringements beyond the state of use. So obviously, if you're a common law trademark, you've never registered or so forth, you're only going to have really that protection within your one little area, as well as you won't really be able to go outside of that area for protection. So next, I want to go into prior art searching. So I talked a little bit about this when going over the different types of trademark applications you could go for. So one main thing regarding trademarks is going to be, okay, what is my business name? What is my logo? What am I exactly going to be wanting to trademark? And like I said, forms of IP can, intertwine with themselves. So maybe you don't have a business yet, but maybe you have a product and you're wanting to sell it and you're wanting to create a business around that product. So, you know, maybe your product has a name, you want to get it physically trademarked. So there's lots of different components that you can think about to which you might need a trademark for. After you've decided what that name is, that design, whatever, and like I said, we'll focus on names today. So whatever your name is, you're going to want to think, okay, what type of application do I want to apply for? But in order to apply for that application, you're going to want to have some prior searching done prior. This prior art searching is going to be a big factor in terms of whether or not you would get that trademark to go through or not. It's one thing to have a strong trademark and not necessarily a weak trademark, but you also want to make sure that you're not infringing in anybody else's way, not only stateside, but, you know, in the US overall. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by prior searching. So regarding prior searching, why do we want to search? So I'm going to focus mostly on entrepreneurs, but also established businesses to answer this question, but it can pertain to anybody. So looking at entrepreneurs, so maybe you want to assess the availability of the mark. This is what I meant by you want to make sure you're not infringing on other. You want to make sure that nobody else is using your name that you want to take. And if they are, then that might make you need to reassess your own name. You want to avoid a likelihood of confusion or infringement. You cannot infringe on somebody else. And if your name is too similar to somebody else's in the same realms of your goods and service, most likely it's not going to go through the application process. And big thing leading into that is you want to save time and money on your application, lawyers, and litigation. So obviously, if your name is too similar or it's infringing or something, your application isn't going to go through. And if you didn't do that prior art searching first and you get denied, then next time you want to apply, you're going to have to reapply, resubmit those fees and stuff. And it can be costly. So if you want to save time and money, do that prior searching. This will also pertain to lawyers or litigation. So if you choose a mark that you know, is kind of weak or generic, maybe, you know, it could be harder to protect. It could be a little bit more costly. That can take into court with lawyers and litigation. Also, if you are trying to infringe on somebody else and you ignore that, lawyers or litigation could come after you. So it pays to search. You want to assess maybe the commercial environment. So maybe you want to see what other names are out there that maybe they're similar, but yours has a distinctive difference to it. But you want to see what other businesses might kind of pop up in your realm of your same goods and service. And you want to be prepared to discuss your mark and goals if you choose to go the route of having an attorney's help. You can choose to apply independently pro se by understanding the jargon like design codes and classes and goods and services. There's one part on the trademark application to which it'll ask you what goods and services do you plan to use this business name under. And so you'll want to make sure that you have those design codes or those classes codes to put into your. I will say, out of all forms of IP, trademark and copyright are easier applications. There are quite a lot of people that will choose to do it independently, but sometimes people like to have the attorney's help, as well as if you have, let's say, more conflicting business name or maybe a lot more questions established with your business, you might want that attorney help. But a lot of people do choose to do it independently. You just need to be familiar with the jargon. And so prior art searching can help with that. Thinking as established business people, maybe you want to track your competitors' trademark applications. So maybe you're in competition with another business, same goods and service. You guys have, you know, different names and such, but you know, you kind of want to see where their trademark process is. You can kind of look at it through that. Also, look for marks that have been published in the opposition. So you're not only going to want to do prior art searching for names that are in the USPTO, but you're also going to want to look at local, especially in the area of which you're wanting to start your business, whether that be Kansas or a different state. And then you also want to look at common law. So thinking, you know, maybe by looking at Google, looking at blogs, YouTube videos, and so forth, you know, just doing that overall searching. So I talked a little bit about likelihood of confusion. This goes hand in hand with kind of weak and strong trademarks. So looking a little bit more in depth into this, there's a few different things that you want to take in consideration to make sure that your business name or design is not in the realms of a likelihood of confusion. So first off is going to be sound. So you want to think about, okay, what is my business name? How does it sound to me? Okay, so it sounds this way. T. Markey. Well, okay, how will it sound to other people? Yes, I may spell it T with a dot and then Markey, but other people might think of it some, you know, a different way. Maybe you have a customer that it really likes golf. So when they hear the word T, they may not think of T with a period. They might think of T-E-E. Maybe you like a chai tea friend, you know, that really likes, you know, drinking tea. They might think of it spelled T-E-A. Although spelled differently, the marks sound alike. So that's something you want to think about. Likelihood of confusion is also knowing those certain aspects is also going to help you with your searching. So if your business was T Markey and you spell it T period Markey and you put it into the test database system, you also want to maybe type it in the other ways it's spelled, because maybe certain trademark applications won't show up right away unless you type it in the other ways it's sound. And that's with all these different forms. So the next form is going to be looking at the appearance. Although the marks look very similar, even though one on the left is a standard font and the other is a more bubble font, it still meets that likelihood of confusion. So when you're trademarking a business name, you're trademarking it regardless of the font. When you're looking at design, yes, design mark may take into effect in regards to the font and stuff, but you're still physically, you're doing it with that name, no matter what the appearance looks like. Meaning is another thing. So you've got your mark, that's lupo, and then the conflicting mark would be woof. So looking at because Italian word lupo translated into English means woof. This happens a lot with any form of most likely a restaurant, because you're looking at their language is spelling, but when you think of it in English format, or you know, you think of it in a different format, it's still going to mean the same thing. And then lastly, commercial impressions. So because the marks include the same design element, they create a similar overall commercial impression, even though the one on the right includes words and that one on the left includes words plus the design. So this is something to consider, especially if you are you're looking to get a trademark that you're not only doing the application for your name, but you're also doing it for your design. Something to also consider when looking at likelihood of confusion regarding commercial impressions is that you also want to consider the fact that what if you change your design one day, how that could seem confusing. A good example for this that I like to use is in and out. So when we think of in and out, when I think of in and out right off the bat, I think of the burger place. You know, we don't have one here, but you know, there's lots in California. It's hit the West Coast, you know, hitting south a little bit. But a few years ago, there was an in and out cleaner that tried to, you know, come in and create a local presence. That's fine and all. You know, cleaners, it's, you know, it's a cleaning shop. they clean clothes, completely different goods and service from burgers and fries and shakes. But where the likelihood confusion really hit was In-N-Out Cleaners was to use the same logo. They were trying to use the same design as In-N-Out Burger. So even though they could exist in the same realm of name point, because one was cleaners, one was burgers, fries, shakes, they're two different goods and services. Where the likelihood confusion hit and where they couldn't intertwine was in their design marks. So just a good example of how conflicting trademark dresses can come into play. And then lastly, marks conveying a similar general meaning and product with the same mental reaction. So maybe your business is city woman. Well, other words for woman could be girl, young girl, young woman, all these different things. So thinking about those synonyms that can also have same or similar meaning to your name when you're doing the prior art searching is really going to help in the long run. So, and this is a really good example. I like to use this chart a lot to kind of get people thinking outside the box in terms of not just doing one prior art search and calling it good. This is one of those charts that you can find in our brochures as well as through the USPTO. Okay, so let's say you have your business name, you kind of jotted down different ways that you maybe think your business name could be conveyed, spelled, other words synonyms associated with it, and so forth. You're ready to go about your searching. So how would you go about searching your trademarks? There's a few different ways. Big one is going to be searching the USPTO's test database. And I'm doing well on time to where I'm going to be able to show you that. So like I said before, searching the test database, everything that's going to pop up is going to be all trademarks that have been federally registered within the United States or the USPTO. Next, you're going to want to look at Secretary of State. For our case, you'd be looking at Secretary of State Kansas website, and you're going to want to look at trademark and business name availability. So for their search engine, you'd still go through the same process as the test database. The only difference is the results that are going to pop up are going to be local to that state site. And then lastly, common law marks. So common law marks, they're a little harder to search for. You have to really be creative in your search strategies. So first off, you could do a general search by using search engines like Google, Yahoo, Chrome, whatever, Firefox, whatever you choose to use. Maybe looking at social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Really popular these days to not think about that, but some businesses, their only presence is social media. So it's really important these days. Yellow pages. They're still a thing. It might be more electronic these days, but yellow pages are a good thing to look at. Looking up your business name and seeing what is around that. App stores. Sometimes businesses are more just an app. They're not even, like I said, they might just exist in social media realms. Databases like Reference USA, this is one that we like to give out because you can search their database through our library, but there's lots of other databases. Let's say your specific goods and service, maybe it's more on the service side and it's specific to something, maybe it's specific to the health field. So picking databases that are relevant to health professionals, that might be your way to go. Let's say your business pertains to government relation. So maybe looking at databases that are more inclined to housing government information might be useful. And then maybe you end up seeing that you've got some conflicting interests or whatnot, or maybe you don't feel comfortable doing the search on your own and you choose to consult a trademark person or attorney. I know I said at the beginning that I am PTRC rep, and one of the things that we do as PTRCs is we do consultations and so forth. We do like to say as a consumer that we aren't lawyers, so therefore we cannot give legal advice. Same for USPTO headquarters. None of us are lawyers per se, so therefore we cannot give legal advice or assistance. However, we can, help you answer specific questions and stuff. We can help you find those resources that you might need, think outside the box, show you different search strategies and so forth. We just can't do it physically for you. So that's a little bit of the difference between attorneys and what representatives do. And then lastly, you might want to look at website domain names. So if, let's say, it's not only one thing to do searches if you are a business and you just want your business name, but maybe with regards to your business name, you have a website that you're looking to create and you want to make sure that your business name can go as part of your domain. If you're looking to create a domain website, you might want to look at I Can Look Up. And then if you are looking at doing a foreign trademark, maybe you've taken the steps to do federal or state, or you're wanting to do all and you want to go outside the US, you might want to search internationally using WIPO. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but I'll show you the link in a little bit. So, but they're going to be where you would look at if you wanted to see trademark names that are outside the US. That'll be your only resource. So specific to using tests, you want to look for marks that sound like yours, look like yours, and leave same impression, have a similar meaning, and exist in the relevant industry. So, it's one thing to think about all the different ways and to try those search engines, but you want to make sure you're doing it because, you don't just want to type in your exact business name, the way you're going to spell it and everything and call it good. Be like, oh, no, there's nothing that popped up. I can call it good. No, you want to think of the different spellings. You want to think about the different similar design looks. Maybe you want to look at the different meanings behind it, whether it's an English word or a different word. And then you also want to consider what are the other goods and services that are similar to yours, their names, their existing names. Regarding the sounds like yours and thinking of different spellings, there are wildcards that you can utilize, such as different symbols that have different meanings that can help you not only search for one word the exact way, but maybe search it with an S or an ING. And those are things that we can teach you as PTRC reps. Okay, so I'm going to go a little off bounds, but first I want to show you this slide, and then I'm going to kind of take you into some of these links, especially since we have a lot extra time. And then I do want to give time at the end for questions because I know sometimes there can be a lot of questions, especially if you came here to this workshop with a specific question already in mind. So these are links to our research guides. So obviously I talked a lot about test database, TEAS plus applications, and so forth. So all that information is going to be housed under uspto.gov. This is where you'll go for any needs that you have regarding U.S. patent and trademark. This is going to be your federal protection. Moving on to that, I'm going to show you a brief overview of our research guides. So I know I talked a little bit about how PTRC, we give you guys guides that have general information. They show you all the links to these things that I've talked about throughout this session and other past sessions. These slides, as well as the slides to my other workshops, they're also provided within that guide and the Entrepreneurship Research Series guide. Going on with the Entrepreneurship Research Series, not only I provide workshops, but our business librarian, Megan Coleman, she also provides a couple worksheets or workshops, to which her slides are on that guide. Her workshops are more regarding graphic design tools used for businesses, and then how to create a business plan. So I really wanted to mention that, especially because regarding trademark people, you guys tend to be more of the business owners and such. And so Megan Coleman, she is a great business librarian resource to have on hand. She could be really helpful in helping get in touch with those things. And then if you are looking for a if you're looking for an outside the US trademark, or maybe you're wanting to do not only US but outside the US, any forms of IP, World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO, there's that acronym. That is where you're going to go for that application, that searching, all of it. So down at the bottom is my email address. So right now it's jessica.torres@wichita.edu. However, in the next month, it will be changing, and I will add the new one in the chat in a little bit, but it will be changing to jessica.pierpoint@wichita.edu. Of course, changing name has been a whole different process, but we're making it work at the university. So you can for sure reach me at either or email, and I will provide both. I'll be keeping both emails open for a few months just to make sure nobody falls within the cracks. But if you're looking for any additional questions that I may not get to answer throughout this session, and maybe you want to set up a consultation or something, feel free to contact me. I would list my phone number, except for a lot of us, like I said, on campus are remote. And so therefore, I don't want to give you a number and then you reach my voicemail most likely, and then maybe not get the help you need right away. So email is the best way to reach me, and I've been more than happy to answer your questions. That way I can give you a call back or do it through a Zoom consultation. So I'm going to stop sharing this for a second, and then I'm going to share a different screen that is going to show a couple of those links, and I want to go through a little bit in depth, and then we will take some questions. So this is the first thing I want to show you, and hopefully you guys are seeing the USPTO website. So this is United States Patent and Trademark Office's website. So like I said, as a Ptrc rep, we're kind of the sub-hubs, the local hubs for everybody. I cover the state of Kansas. So as long as you reside somewhere in Kansas, I am your best point of contact. If you reside outside of Kansas, there might be a closer Ptrc to you. If you're looking for regional help, Denver is our closest, and then USPTO headquarters obviously is in Alexandria, Virginia. So uspto.gov, and I'm going to be putting this all in the chat for you guys. This is where you're going to go for those federal. They have two different tabs for trademarks. They've got the one up here, which, Trademark Basics is going to be kind of the general information. A lot of it I touched on today, but if you want to see what they have to offer, you can go there. They have trademark questions. If you want to search trademarks, apply online, all that you can do right here. A little easier trick that I like to show people is the find it fast. So this is literally everything we talked about from the test database system, which I will click on it and show you. The internet is a little slow today. It might be on their end too. But eventually it'll pop up, hopefully. But this is going to be your test database system. So like I said, if you're wanting to search, do that prior art searching to see if your name is available or something, there we go. This is where you're going to go. They have 3 different ways that you can search. The more common is going to be if you're just searching your name, you're going to go to basic word. If you have a name and a design, or just design, then you can go to one of these. And there's just like a little slight difference. So if you click on that, you can type in your name. If you click on one of these, you can type in what your design looks like if it's a like for example, here, this design, I would do a tree. You type that in and see what all forms up. The really cool thing about design mark searching within TESS is you can see a little black and white version of that design mark that business has. So that's kind of cool. Next, where I click on T's. So T's is going to take you through the steps to do either a T's or T standard application. Like I said, the T's plus is going to be cheaper, but you're also giving all your information at once. T standard, you're paying a little bit more, but you're also not going to be giving all your information right away, but doing it throughout. USPTO, they have changed their system a little bit. It used to be you could view the application, what it looked like ahead of time without doing anything. Now they ask for you to create a My USPTO profile for yourself. This is free to do, but once you create that profile, then you may look at what the application looks like. Until you actually physically pay and you submit, it will not go through. So if you want to start the process, but then you find out you need help, or you want to seek an attorney, or you want to wait before you do it, it'll stay in its place as long as you save it. Having that account also helps because they have made it where the application process you do, but moving forward, they contact you through that portal. So as long as you have an account, you'll be able to see where your process is in the application. So once you've submitted, you'll see, is there any office actions that come back? You'll see if somebody starts to look at it, a patent examiner, you'll see if it's gotten approved, if there's any maintenance fees, and it'll all be in your portal in one place. So they've done that to make it a little easier on you. Other things you might want to look at is going to be fees and payments. If you want to kind of get a broader, if you want to see that chart again, or look at the more up-to-date chart. And then also ID manual. So ID manual, this is going to be where you go to find your goods and service code. So let's say you are going to sell barbecue sauce and you're needing to know what the code is. So you're going to type in barbecue sauce. I don't know why nothing popped up, but let's say you want to just sell sauce in general and find barbecue on here. So if you type in sauce, you're going to see 030 pop up as the class. You might see other classes pop up, and if they apply to you, then you'll want to maybe look more in depth into that class, see if that's worth noting. But if it doesn't, then just keep moving on. But let's say I'm only selling barbecue sauce. It looks like 030 would be my realm. The good thing about doing this search is it also helps you to know what other goods and services you could sell besides barbecue sauce, and it would still fall within your trademark realm. So if I wanted to expand to hot sauces, I'd be okay because it's still the same class number. Class numbers can house a lot more than you think. So just kind of note that. I get a lot of questions very frequently regarding apparel. You know, if you're selling different types of apparels, how many class of goods and services really do you have to write down? Sometimes because how broad the classes are, you may only apply within two or three. Sometimes you can apply within a lot. So goods and services also make up the price of your trademark. So if you have more than one class goods and service, that's going to add up. So for each goods and service, I think it's like $225 is about the average that people would pay. So let's say you have 3 goods and service classes, that's $225 times 3 that you'd be paying for. So that's just a quick overview of that. And then next up, I want to take you a little bit more in depth into our library website. So I'm going to type that in. It's going to be libraries.wichita.edu. And then I'm going to also type in the link, the little shortcut link. If you add the Ptrc, it'll take you to our guide, but I want to show it to you this way as well. So this is our library website. Very handy, lots of cool things on here. We've got our hours for the day. We also have a live chat that you can use. So if you know you're wanting to talk with me, but you don't remember where to find me, or you don't remember if I'm my guide. You can chat here. Most likely you'll either get either me or another librarian that I work with closely, and they'll be able to help you. When we start back our own series, we'll be posting that here in our events and workshops. If I'm doing a series like this one with Kansas Small Business Development Center, you might see it in our tweet feed or on our guides. So if you do choose to come to our library and you want to become a community user so that you may check out our intellectual property books up on the 3rd floor, to become a community user, you would need to bring in a couple forms, and you can do that by, if you go to circulation and type and click on community user, it'll show you what type of borrower you would want to become, and then what you would be required of you to bring in so that you may become that type of borrower, and you may check out materials when you come in. Right now, our library looks a little weird because we don't have all of our floors open to the public. 3rd floor, which is the floor that houses the intellectual property books, is currently closed to the public. So just know, if you do come to the library, you become a community user, you want to check out, let's say, my Trademark Basics book that I have in our collection for everybody, you would just need to tell the front desk that's the book you want, and they'll go up and get it for you. So at least on the bright side, you don't have to walk up to the 3rd floor right now. If you want to search our catalog to see what books are available, you can do that whether you're a community user or not, and you would go about doing that by using our library catalog. If you do fall within the realm, I know sometimes I get actual WSU people at these workshops, and I know I have a wide diverse in the audience right now probably, but if you are associated with WSU, you would already have access to our databases. So if there is a specific realm, like I talked about, maybe you're selling a medical product and you want to look at do some prior art searching within databases, you might look at our A through Z catalog and go about searching through those. And if you are a community member or not a community member, in order to have access to our databases, you would just need to use one of our community computers on campus. And those are available right now. So the big thing I want to show you guys is our research guides. So if you go here to research guides, you can either type in PTRC, or you can do libraries.wichita.edu/PTRC, or you can click on subject guides and patents, trademark, copyright. So this is where all my guides that I've created for you guys are. You will see a little picture of me. This is my direct email link. So if you want to shoot me an email regarding questions you have, you can do that. If you want to talk with me via Zoom, you can click this and see if I'm available. My office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 theoretically. So anytime, unless I'm in a meeting or such, you can typically reach me. And if I don't get back to you within the day, I typically get back to you within 24 to 48 hours, unless it's on a weekend. So I have 4 guides. I have the normal general patent, trademark, copyright guide. I have one specific to patents, one specific to trademarks, one specific to copyright. Since this workshop I've been doing today focuses on trademark, I'm going to click on the trademarks for you. So right now, I have our changes. So if you want to know what's going on campus before you come to campus, you can click on this. I have, just basic introduction. I have a couple links. These show you links to the brochures that we have physically in the library. So if you don't feel like going to the library, but you want to read those brochures, you can click here. I also have a tab for trademark searching. So let's say you want to do trademark searching, you forgot where those databases are, you forgot which one you need, you can go here and click on those links. I also have another PowerPoint presentation that you can look at. Let's say your trademark involves a bit more in-depth looking and you want to look at legal assistance, you can do so by clicking on this tab. This will help you. Like I said, a lot of people do feel that they can do a trademark application on their own. If for some reason you feel like you can't or you don't want to, that's your right. And you might look at legal assistance. Let's say you want to look at legal assistance, but you can't afford legal assistance. There is a law school clinic certification program that that is through the USPTO that you might qualify for. And you can click on that link here, and it'll take you here. Basically what it is it is a law school. It's more common that people that are wanting to do patents will use this, but there are some offices that just apply to trademarks, so I don't like to distinguish it to one. But let's say you need legal assistance, you can't afford it. So maybe you want to apply through a law school clinic and get a discounted rate. So basically you're paying for the application fee to get into one of these law schools to seek help. But then from there, they'll do all the legal stuff for you for free. It's kind of a give or take thing. So you would be assigned to the law school that you would apply to, and it's helping their students learn the process before they become full-fledged patent or trademark attorneys. But it's also giving you that second look. So not only are they looking at your application and helping you and get it processed through and accepted, but their professors who are actual patent and trademark attorneys, they're looking at it and submitting it, and you're getting it all done at a low discounted rate, or for free, basically, because all you're applying for is the application. There is a long list of all the different schools that qualify. Unfortunately, none are just in Kansas, as much as we wish maybe Washburn would do it or somebody. But what you would want to look at is any that say all United States, or maybe potentially say Midwestern states. Another thing to take note is, besides making sure it's either a Midwestern state or an all US, you also want to make sure it either says just trademark or it says patent and trademark. You don't want to apply to a law school like Cease Western that just accepts patents, because they will not be able to help you because you're wanting trademark help and not patent help. So just something to consider. Then also I have a tab for applying for a trademark. So when you're finally ready to go through that system, you can go here for TEAS help. Also, if you want to see the fees and payments, you can go about here. And then if you wanted to register just with the Secretary of State and do a Kansas, you can do it through here. Like I said, we do have books up on our third floor. Here is 2 versions of the same book that are specific. We also have IP basic books, and then we have normal general books as well. Our no-low press books, which are what these are, that publishing company is great. They're awesome. I will write them in the chat. So no-low press books, they're perfect because they are written in the everyday layman's terms. So basically anybody can understand them. You don't have, they make all that jargon and all those big words really easier to understand. They're great resources to look at. And then also you will see a tab that will take you to our general patent, trademark, copyright. As you can see, you'll see any events that I'll be doing, or our other patent representative, when he comes in, might be doing as well. Right now, we're doing this series with Kansas Small Business Development Center. I have also done workshops with SCORE. I've done workshops just through the library, WSU's library, and then so forth. So all that will get posted there theoretically. Here's a little bit introduction just to PTRCs in general, things you might want to learn about. Also, we talk about Megan Coleman. Like I said, she's a business librarian. If you are interested in seeing what, if you, let's say, you lose the email Marsha sent out with these slides to today's presentation and you want to look at them again, or you want to see the slides to my past presentations or the business presentations Megan Coleman has done, you can go here to our ERS series. Here, if you go patent, trademark, copyright, you will see all of our workshops, just the slides. Like I said, our business librarian, Megan Coleman, she does do or used to do a graphic design tool and market research. So if you click on these, they will take you to her slides for those past workshops, as well as this is Megan Coleman and her contact information. She actually has a tab to which you can schedule appointments with her. And she's a great resource if you're looking to do something business related. She also is a good referral. We both are good referrals for if we can't help you, maybe Kansas Small Business Development Center can. If it's something that they can't do, maybe they sometimes send people over to us. So it's a great thing that we have going. So, but she's created a lot of different business guides that are definitely worth looking and mentioning, especially with this group right here. So that is the big things I wanted to show you guys, and I will stop searching. I will go back to the slide, and I'm just going to keep this posted. That way you guys have my little contact and those links. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to take it. I know we've got about a little more than 10 minutes left in this session. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or I think you have the capability to potentially unmute yourselves, and you can do that, or you can just put them in the chat. I'll be staying on here for a little bit. Marcia, if you have anything you would like to add, we'll wait in to see if any questions come into play. You can take a couple minutes, but like I said, I'll stay on here for a little bit to see if there's any questions. And Marcia, if there's anything you want to wrap up with this session series, you're more than welcome to.
No, I appreciate your presentation. I learn something every time I listen to you talk, so I appreciate it. Anyone out there who wants a little basic help with things related to trademarks or related to their business, we'd be glad to provide some free services. I'll be sending out a link with the recording for this workshop, as well as an evaluation, probably early next week. So thank you.
Sounds good. I saw we did get a question asking, could I go back and show how I look at class for products? Yes, so that, I believe what you're talking about is the ID manual. When I was showing that, is that correct? I'll wait to see if you reply in the chat. Okay, yes. So if I will take you back, so this is, like I said, the USPTO website. So to go and find what goods and service product class you're wanting to have, you would go here. I like to use the Find It Fast. I think that's the easiest. So Find It Fast, Trademarks tab. You just go down. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs down, and you go to ID manual. If you click on that, you can go here and search. So obviously, you're probably not going to know what number your goods and service product falls under. So best case scenario, I would just type in your actual product or type in a general version of your product. So like at first I typed in barbecue sauce, nothing came up. But then when I typed in sauce, multiple things came up. So obviously, if the in-depth version does not, it says no results found, you might need to go to the general version and then see it. And I'll do that example again. So typing in sauce, I just go here, look for the type of sauce I'd be selling. In that case, I had mentioned barbecue sauce, and I would find it, and then I would look at the code. If you're wanting to see what that code has, let's say I know I'm going to be selling barbecue sauce, so I want to see what else is out there for 030 without seeing other numbers pop up. You can search by class and just type in 030, and it'll list every single thing that class of goods and service will fall under. and it's a long list for 030, as you can tell, but that's how you would go about doing that. And then, yes, you are welcome. And like I said, I'll type that in the chat for you, but you would basically go to Find It Fast under the trademarks, and then click on ID manual. And that is through the uspto.gov website. So, and oh, you're very much welcome. I hope that all of you guys learned something new. Maybe this got you thinking, maybe helped you with the next steps to which you need to go about. One thing I do like to say with my trademark presentations is I can't thank Marsha and her team enough for all that they do at Kansas Small Business Development Center, just with everything, because a lot of times when we get business owners that are needing help with the trademark thing, sometimes they're also needing help with LLCs, or they're needing help to start up their business or help networking and all that. And that is definitely where we refer them to. And I know that they refer people to me and Megan when their questions might be better suited having us answer. So we do really have a great referral system, and it's been great doing this series with everybody. And like I said, I'll stay on for a couple seconds in case another question pops up. But otherwise, Marsha and Mindy, you guys can send us out of this.
All right, thank you so much, Jessica. I appreciate it.